How's it going, everybody? My name is Ged. This is Fabulous Flicks, and this is legitimately a dream come true. So for the last year and a half, I've had the absolute pleasure of doing some old movie reviews, some new movie reviews. I have had the pleasure of joining a really good friend of mine a bunch of times, the Rogue Leader, on his channel. I've been able to take part in some very cool podcasts with the Momentous team out west. I got to do a great speaker review, which was a ton of fun. It's my highest viewed video, so thank you to those who have watched it. But I've always wanted to be able to do a video for you guys on what to do if you have the ability to build your own home theater. I mean, obviously, for those of us that love watching movies, that do it as people who are passionate about it, you know, we would love the ability to design our own space. Well, I'm going to welcome in my good friend, Tyler, the Rogue Leader. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah. Tyler is moving far away, a galaxy far, far away.
To my dream home.
To his dream home. And as much as I am sad, obviously, that he's leaving our city of Guelph, it presented a very cool opportunity. Tyler and I have been chatting over the last little while about what would it look like if he could design his own space. Well, because Tyler has a wonderful spouse who understands his passion for movie and films and Star Wars specifically, she gave him the go-ahead to have a bit of fun in one of the main rooms in the basement, and I was sincerely honored that he reached out to me for help. So this is going to be a quick series of videos. This is part one on how to plan properly. So you'll notice that we have a pretty open space. There's steel studs up. There's rooms all around us. So the first things first is you want to have a plan. Best way to have a plan is to grab your digital footprint, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute, and make a plan out drawn to scale. Certain key measurements are going to be things like, what is your total viewing space? How much of that do you need to account for a screen size, whether it's going to be a television or in this case, a projector? Where are speakers going to go? How versatile do you want to be? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a couple of very quick tips on how you can save some time, save some money, assuming you have access to the area, and do some of this stuff yourself so you're not spending a lot of money on it, so you can then spend more money later on in speakers. Is that kind of the plan here?
Yeah.
You save money here and do other stuff later?
Spend money on the good stuff.
So certain things you can cheap out on and certain things you should not cheap out on, and that's what we're going to get into. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so here you see the main layout of the room that we're going to be working with. There's a couple things to note before we start making marks on this. Number one, you'll see at the end of the engineered floor joist and 16 inches OC, there's a steel beam there. Now, when we got to the spot, we realized that the steel beam was behind the return air exchange. So that distance from a safe throw from in front of that to the wall was about 9 feet. Very important when deciding on your screen size. Another big thing to look at is at the very bottom of the screen where that door looks like it's opening. From the right-hand side of that to the wall is basically going to be the main viewing area. A couple other things jumped out at me, like that little tiny piece where it says kind of concrete pad on the bottom left corner. This became an integral part for expansion, and I'll explain why. So here's our funny little colored drawings. They don't have to be, super technical. It's really just about painting a picture. So blue are speakers that are off the floor, green are speakers that are on the floor, and red is the eventual sub. So the distance of the viewing area was just under 14 feet. It was like 164 inches. And with only being able to throw 9 feet, we realized that 100 inches for now was probably going to be the biggest we could go. Now, technology is going to change, so it's always good to have expansion possibilities to go up to maybe 120 one day. So the first thing you'll notice is the yellow smudge across is approximate screen size. 100-inch screen is 87 inches wide. So we found the middle of the point, and that would be where the screen itself would go. The green dots to either side obviously represent the front speakers. The blue smudge in the middle is approximately where that center is going to go. And then the blue smudges outside the fronts are a height presence front speaker. Now, normally you would put these directly over top of the front speakers, but because we wanted to future-proof for the idea of maybe expanding to 120 one day, we made them out a little bit wider because you can always move a tower speaker. It's just some speaker cable. But if you've got stuff running in through the walls, you want to make sure that you're covered in case things change. So the next thing you'll notice as you travel kind of up the screen, you've got two blue smudges. These are going to represent an in-ceiling surround speaker. Now, it's not necessarily ideal. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd have a wall on each side and those speakers would come out from the side. However, you need to play in the environment you're given. So in this case, we have an in-ceiling surround sound, which we're going to have kind of a movable cone in there to help with the presence. And at the very back, you're going to see on that back wall, you're going to see two more blue smudges. Now, because we wanted to keep the speakers out of the reach of children and flying objects, there was room above that sliding door and a stud, and as well to the opposite side there, to put kind of like a smaller bookshelf speaker. It also didn't hurt the fact that it was in line with the height speakers and the surround speakers, and it formed basically a straight line to the back of the room. These were all things we considered. Now, why I said that other corner was going to be important was because subwoofers are not small. So originally the plan was to put that red box in the bottom right corner. However, if Tyler ever went to a 120-inch screen, we would be in a lot of trouble with space. So we ran a wire over there and some power over there to allow for expansion. And now that we have our funny drawing, we are ready to roll.